I'm also flattered that my presentation, you will have the brief summary in the latest issue of Digital Learning on page 12. And I think that's very nice to get like an appetizer, and you can see also my presentation like an appetizer. But later I really like you to read the full paper. And you were speaking about policy and implementation level here. This is on the implementation level. And it's a software system, and the name is, maybe you should hear me better like this, which is called eINDIA. And it's a free, open, and flexible learning object repository. So I think for all of you, if you like what I presented today, this is something that you can bring home to your university or organization. And we will be more than pleased if you like to use it. This is not working? No? Maybe it's volume is. Okay. I think this is, maybe this is better then. Okay, so my name is Peter Moselius. I'm a great fan of Asia, but when I'm not in Asia, I'm mostly in Sri Lanka. I teach computer science and software engineering at the Stockholm University. And the project that I will present is international collaboration. So what you see down here is it's the UCSC in Sri Lanka, University of Colombo School of Computing, and I'm from Stockholm University, but we have also worked with Örebro University from Sweden. So if I start, the name of the system is eINDIA, E-Learning Neutral Object Storage with a Holistic Approach. I go into the details later and explain why we choose that name. But my co-author to this paper is eINDIA. So when I say eINDIA, Heterachi, it's a woman that works at the university in Colombo, but I call the system is eINDIA. But this is what is very shortly described in the magazine here, that it's a learning object repository. And I don't know how familiar you are with a learning object repository, but very shortly that it's a software system where you can store and retrieve digital learning objects. And the thing is that you should be able to search for objects and to categorize them. And this is a free and open software system. So if you like to try it at your organization, please, this is free. And if you like to test it before you download and install it, you have the link here, and where we can make you to be a test user. And that is really what we are looking for the moment, more test users. Because we think that this is a stable product, and it's not a beta version, but we really like to have more users in more countries, and that we in the future could work together to develop this system further on. So how it started? It started with a needs analysis. And what you see on the picture here, this is the University of Colombo School of Computing, a very nice university. And we see here at the rooftop, we often have lunch there and discuss new ideas. And about 2 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we started to speak about that. Where should we store all these digital objects that we have? Because the development of learning objects during these, I'm so impressed here in Asia, your development, it's super fast. And when I came the first time to Sri Lanka in 2005, they were just starting up, and I thought that, well, this will take a lot of time, was my reflection. But they have been working so very committed and so fast. So after some years, they have developed so much content. And then there was the question that, where should we store all this content? And how should we be able to find and how to search for content? So the need was to increase the reuse of content. And I think that sooner or later you will come there if you're into e-learning, because it's not a good idea to reinvent the wheel every time. And how to manage the sustainable e-content development, and how to share and search. Because before this eINDIA system, things were stored, some on a server there and on another server, and people had to find special people to know where is this thing for the course on databases, and they really had a problem. So that's the reason why we started to build this system. And the collaboration then, here you can see the team members, and the first one is Surya maybe had been the person that should be here to give the presentation, but he's very busy in Sri Lanka. But if you're interested, he's the one that will give you a test account. And also the Telini and Sirani, who the programmers, which now are working in the industry. So I think that was one success of the product. The programmers did such a good job, so they got hired in the industry after finishing the work. But it's very much a collaboration between the University of Colombo, Örebro University. They are very good at e-government, but also at databases and metadata. So they were an important partner. And myself from Stockholm University. So if we start with the metadata set, that was the first part of this, is that, and very briefly, that metadata, that's data about data. And if you don't have any metadata set, you will never be able to search for things in a repository. So this was the result of the needs analysis, that we should create a new metadata set that should be serve all the needs for UCSC, but also to be so general so that this product should be able to install in all universities in any country. So we started with the LOM standard, which is a huge standard. I think it's two ways. Either you extend the Dublin core standard, or otherwise you derive the LOM standard. But I will not speak so much of this. If someone is interested, we have another research paper only on the metadata, where we explain all the details about metadata. But very shortly, why we choose the LOM standard is because that at UCSC and in many universities, if we should say something about standards, that whether you like it or not, that SCORM is one of the most common standard, and SCORM is very close to the LOM standard. And then you come to the dilemma that you always have when you should develop a metadata set for whatever purpose. You can ask the people that are into digital libraries here that if you have too many data fields, you will decrease the user acceptance of a learning object repository or of any system. But on the other hand, if you make the metadata set too small, then it will be very user-friendly, but then you will not have good searchability in the system. Then the design concept, that reusability, very important, that we should have features for searching. It should be very easy to find the resources, and we should always have user-friendliness, that it should be easy to use this system. Otherwise, people won't use it. And then flexibility, that we in some way should make it so flexible so it will work for all working roles at the University of Colombo, but also in a bigger perspective that it should be possible to use this system in any organization or university in any country. So designing for flexibility then, that what we analyzed, and our said a different curriculum and course structure in different organizations, for sure, that's very obvious. And various type of contents and various aggregation levels. I will explain on a slide later what aggregation levels is. And to have template support for bulk upload to increase the usability, that if you have a lot of courses to upload, that you could use templates to upload a lot of things at the same time without to have to fill in this metadata every time you use the system. And also that open and closed content stored together. In my earlier presentation today in the Telecentrum Forum, because we like to have the idea that in Sri Lanka that this repository should be for the university for some kind of content, but also open for telecenters and other organizations, so that you could store open and closed content together in the same